This is an action combat MMO that's going for a really clean anime-inspired look, with cel-shaded graphics. You can think of it as a mix between old-school anime MMOs, like MapleStory and more modern action games, but in full 3D. The game is heading into early access very soon, and while it has some genuinely fun ideas going for it, there are also some rough edges I should mention up front, but do keep in mind this is not the final version, so things could still change as development continues. First of all, the combat feels pretty smooth when the servers cooperate. You pick a class. There's warrior, priest, rogue and mage, and they each have an arsenal system they use. This essentially means you can equip 2 different weapon types at once and switch between those mid-fight, so mixing and matching skills. So you can run dual daggers for quick strikes and then swap to a bow for range damage, or use a spear for area attacks. There are some interesting weapon choices too, like crab claw boxing gloves, or throwing stars that ricochet between enemies. The combat itself is active. You are required to dodge attacks, time your abilities right, and of course position yourself properly. The world here is split into different zones with various themes, and you move around this by climbing, gliding and jumping across platforms. There is definitely some platforming involved, which can be fun when you're exploring but gets frustrating during lag spikes, or when you're just trying to get somewhere quickly. The game does allow you to unlock mounts eventually. The zones have these mini-bosses wandering around, hidden chests you can find, and dungeons that you can also run with your friends. The dungeons are instanced for your party and have mechanics that you need to learn, especially for the boss fights. For progression, there's this codex system where you kill 8 of a specific enemy type to complete it and get a chunk of experience. The game pushes you toward completing these rather than just grinding mobs normally, since regular enemies give very little experience on their own. You also level up your individual weapons as you use them. This unlocks passive bonuses and new skills. There's a talent tree too where you pick that increases as you level. The crafting system has different jobs you can learn, stuff like blacksmithing, alchemy, cooking, and you collect materials from the world or by recycling equipment. The game's party play works for up to 4 people, and the game does scale content based on your group size. There's some basic social features, but no guild system is visible yet. The game uses a channel or instant system, so you won't see hundreds of players in one spot, but there are other people around when you're out in the world. Now for some of the problems. Firstly, there seem to be some performance issues. There's a memory leak that gets worse the longer you play, so you have to restart the game every hour or 2. The servers can get laggy, especially during boss fights when there's a lot happening on screen. Surprisingly, the game seems to need a pretty beefy computer to run well, which seems odd for the art style. I strongly suspect these are the first things they're going to address. Technical issues are often the biggest concerns with these games, but beyond the technical problems, there are some design things that feel off, at least in the non-final version. The mob density is really low in most zones, so the areas feel kind of empty. The dungeons scale enemy health for parties, but don't increase the experience enough to make it feel worth the extra time. You can't really level just by grinding enemies. The game forces you into the codex system or dungeons. For the actual content, there are a few dungeons to run, several zones to explore, and various bosses you can fight. The game is meant to keep expanding in early access. The developers plan to spend about a year in early access, adding more regions, dungeons, level cap increases, new weapons and skills, social events, and a proper guild system. Right now, those features either don't exist or are pretty bare bones, so you're getting the foundation of the game, with the promise of more content coming later. If the technical stuff gets sorted out, then Farever could be a solid choice. If you want an action MMO that's not super complex, it has potential. It just needs time to get there. And this sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.